Get ready. All right, what's going on, everybody? Ignore that image you just saw there. You didn't see that image. I gotta redo that. The image isn't there. Thank God this doesn't broadcast my screen. The mess my desktop is in right now. Bam. The Witch from Mercury. Or Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. Finally, Season 1 is completed after all the 13 episodes. Mr. Chris and I will go over our thoughts, feelings, and what other emotions we can convey for this.
I think you have to go by its technical name.
That's why I went with Gundam Witch from Mercury, or is it The Witch from Mercury?
Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury.
Listen, the people don't have time for that. We don't have time for like short names. They're going to get Gundam.
Every time I try to do a short name of it, they're always like, "You talking about this Gundam series?" No, I'm not talking about that one.
I just type in Gundam Witch from Mercury in Google.
Oh, no, it always makes me put Mobile Suit.
Well, this is why you don't use Bing. Anyways, Mr. Chris, I'll tell everybody a little bit about yourself and all that. Start us off as well.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris. Welcome to the Questionable Perspective Podcast with my friend Joshua. I'm a fighting game player, gamer all around, anime guy. Probably early 90s when I really started getting into anime, so I definitely have a lot more experience than probably some other people, maybe. But more so recently, Gundam has been probably my favorite series out of all of them. Pretty much like everybody since Gundam Wing first premiere, I've been hooked. And Gundam fans, we've had our ups and downs in recent years, and this is actually a pleasant surprise to kind of round out I think it's the 35th anniversary of Gundam?
40th, if I remember correctly.
45th. But it's a good way to round it out with them kind of putting like a fresh coat of paint on an old car. But I said, how did you feel about it, Mr. Joshua?
Did you call me Joshua?
Joshua.
How dare you? There you go. I'm just messing with you. Let's see. For this whole series, I will say from start to finish, like the start, I felt it was. It's Gundam. They're going to introduce the characters. Our main character here, who you see on the screen with her Gundam Ariel, is Miss Mercury. I don't remember how to say the first name, so excuse me.
I think it was Stelletta.
Stelletta Mercury.
I think that's how they pronounce when in the Japanese. When the English dub come out, it might be different. They might pronounce
we'll see. But Miss Mercury here, she's going to school now. She's 17 years old. So you kind of take that with what as you will, as it feels kind of like a rom-com with just kind of Gundam in the background, but then the last 3 episodes, especially the final episode of this series, is like...
Well, a little bit before that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It seems she's going to school. She's dealing with the daily life. She has a little wish list of things she wants to do. We all have had those. Minor spoilers here and there, folks. Since this is kind of a full review, but she has a full wish list. Like she wants to make friends, eat with friends. Just not a bucket list or anything, though some people might have a bucket list at the end of this. Some of those characters might as well have. We won't get into that. But there's subtle hints to where it gets pretty serious. But the seriousness doesn't crank up to 11 till like the last 2 episodes. But a subtle hint we'll kind of go with. There's like it's a love square, I want to call it. It's a love square. This is I want to say a love triangle, but there's like 4 characters that end up like falling for Miss Mercury. Chris, what is that girl's name? That she she's quote unquote
Mer,
married or engaged to.
Marina.
Yeah, we'll say Marina. She's a chick with the white hair. Her part of her hair flares up like feathers in a little bit. But then there's another one. He's kind of a stoic gentleman. He is very proud of himself. The school they go to is in outer
What's his
space.
name? Gil.
Gule is a very stoic, proud gentleman. I mean, he's very prideful in his. He was the current holder, or the holder's a title to which someone will be engaged to Miss Merrill. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. This is going to be. I'm terrible with names because it's been a minute. But they're currently engaged. They're all around 17. So, but the reason it's set up this way is because her father, who is like the main CEO of this giant corporation of other companies that are under them of weapon development and all that. And in this universe, Gundams are forbidden. The system that the Gundam uses is forbidden because of a inherent data feedback that is caused to the pilots because of how just think like if you've ever watched Gundam Wing and you've ever seen like Hiro Yui, Ketra, and a few other pilots that have piloted the Epion or the Wing Zero because of the Zero system. There's just like the Zero system gives you like hundreds of scenarios that's just thrown at your brain. But this system, it's more of just data of what the surroundings is, not the possible outcomes of the future. But it causes a skin condition almost. You see that what is like circuitry almost on their face. It's just a red data line. It is just an inherent red that protrudes on their face. But
it kind of makes it feel like they're like a processor inside of the Gundam.
yeah, the nice thing is that if you viewed Iron Blood Orphans, the kids, because it's lost technology and it can only be done on kids, they have several surgeries done on them, if not one. It inherently links a small device on the back that allows them to basically jack into the Gundam in Iron Blooded Orphan. This is not so invasive, thank goodness. It's only on the it just hooks into the pilot's suit. They don't feel the pain or jerks or whatever, but it allows for better controlling and all that. It's a very interesting idea they took from Iron Blooded Orphan and implemented it. It's not as so invasive for our characters to deal with.
Yeah, they kind of refined it a little bit.
Now, do they take place in the same universe? I don't think so. This is the Universal Century. No, I don't think this is the Universal Century.
No, I think Witch from Mercury it's like the rest of the Gundam series. They in their own little pocket universe.
Okay, so this is not a Universal Century like Hathaway Flash is. Okay,
Uh-uh.
This might be in the same universe as Iron Blooded Orphan, just farther in the future. But anyways, Miss Mercury and several other students throughout several episodes, they learn to discover that the Ariel has the actual Gundam system in it. But she's not affected like all previous pilots of this system. She's not an anomaly, because if you there are the way the episodes are numbered, there's episode 0, which introduces us to Miss Mercury's mother, some other companies that are developing Gundam prototypes. Well, Mr. Chris, I'll let you talk about episode 0.
The prologue is basically setting up where the Gundams where this particular Gundam came from, why it syncs to Miss Mercury so well, and basically it really just sets up her mother and what her mother's motivations are for why she keeps developing this machine in secret, which I kind of had a problem with when they got later on into the series, because like you said, the Gundam technology was supposed to be
Mundo.
this. Yeah, I didn't see him in the chat. But the technology was supposed to be forbidden, right?
Well, they were developing it, and then for whatever reason, there was another company that was trying to like steal it. But they're like, you know what? Screw all this. We're going to blow up everything. Yeah. So her mom and
But yeah, but then they kind of just throw it out the window because spoilers.
We've already said
Toward,
spoilers. At this point, if they missed it,
toward,
I don't know what to tell them.
towards the end, we get two surprises for something that was supposed to be forbidden for all these years, and no one's supposed to be developing these things. All of a sudden, two surprises pop up at the end.
No, don't say that. No. Let's put it this way. Everybody still uses the bloody Gundam systems. They just don't say anything. Oh, they're here. Just keep in mind, these systems are still here. They weren't inherently gone. They're still there. And there are systems that are anti-Gundam as well. But we'll get a little bit more into that. Let's still get to the meat of the first episodes.
Yeah, but the episode 0 was... That's one of the main things that really make me not like the first... I'll say the first 4 or 5 episodes. Because the prologue sets up like more traditional Gundam.
Yeah.
Where it's more about the political intrigue and mobile suit battles, these factions, and then you get into episode 1 and it's like they're doing high school duels and battles and testing, and it's like, what is going on here?
Mr. Chris, is this your first Gundam episode series? Because you sound like all the people that just started watching Gundam for the first time and this was their first series. They're shocked.
If they didn't have the prologue, I would have came into it with a different perspective. But the prologue kind of sets it up in a way of, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be this traditional Gundam. And then they kind of flip it and go back to Build Divers, where now we're just having battles and team battles. But when I go back and think on it more, so I'm like, they're really doing a lot of character development with Miss Mercury and all the other ancillary characters around her, which technically she's not my favorite character. My favorite character has to be Choo Choo.
It's understandable. As Mr. Mundo pointed out, it's like, yeah, after that incident, they were outlawing it. They go, it's like, all right, we got to get rid of all the prototypes. And, like, basically, Mercury and her mom escape. But to give a little extra detail, let's put it this way.
Escape and nobody ever goes.
No. Hold on. Little girl's by herself. The Gundam's still left on before any like the crazy explosions start going off. It's her birthday, by the way. In this series, I want y'all to understand, when we're going to get further talking, when it's someone's birthday, someone has a bad time. This seems to be a problem. I'm not kidding. We'll get into that a little later. Choo Choo throw hands. Yes, she does. Thank goodness. But no, she's a little girl, kind of like, because all the people that are piloting these Gundam systems are adults. She's about 4 years old. Gets into the Gundam. They were having issues getting the Gundam to like start and everything. They were trying to get it past, like, it would get to, her mom could get it to level 30 something. It was like a harmonization thing to get the system to harmonize with people. She gets in the darn thing and it harmonizes with her automatically. I'm just sitting here, I'm like, this ain't gonna end well. A child is in a weapon.
I gotta get it though, because the aerial is basically, from the way her mom talks about it, the aerial itself is basically like, it's a learning computer. So it's basically like a child.
Yeah, it learned with her.
Yeah, so it's kind of like they synced up because they're probably around the same age and it's learning from her. And since she's younger, she probably can handle the data influx. And since she's grown up with the Gundam over years, instead of we just put a full-grown adult in this machine and it just kills them, she's had time to adjust and gradually build into the Gundam. Well, so now the data stream doesn't affect her the way it does everyone else.
That's right. But you got to remember who was in the pilot seat at that moment in episode 0. It was her mom. But the Gundam was listening to her. The little girl. Because this is how dumb it is to me. I was like just horrified at this. I was like, oh, this is like child innocence that doesn't understand what they're using. And as the bombing of this facility is going on, she points to like her and her mom are piling the suit away. She loses her dad in this, sadly, and it always saddens me when a character loses their dad. But
is this your first Gundam series, sir?
Don't even start with me. I'll be like Bright and I'll slap you like Amuro. And she just points to these 4 mobile suits. There was like, oh, these highlights them as targets. Proceeds to fire. and then and they get blown up. The mother is just sitting there horrified at what is just unveiled in front of her. She understands what her child is going to become. Then we proceed to episode 1. High school. Yay! The child committed war crimes. What could go wrong? All right, and we go ahead.
Episode. I said I did like episode. Going back that, like I said, it picks up around about episode 5. So if you're like one of those people that are expecting a lot of action to take place, it's more so reserved because it's like it's a gradual build up into those last few episodes. Because to me, once you got to like episode 6 and through 6 through 12, that's when it just kind of starts to pick
Really
up and it kind of floats back, and it kind of gives you a I kind of have an idea where they probably might be going with it in season 2, but we'll get into that at the end.
Now, Mr. Chris, you missed an episode. You missed episode 4. 4 is one of our most important episodes.
I said, which one was 4? Was when she fought.
She fought
what's his name?
Yeah, he was a. For those that don't know, there's what I call the love square. There's a body double of this. He's one of the heirs to this other big company that's under the main one.
Yeah.
And he's very not. He doesn't act like Hiro Yui, where he's just like a cold, stoic person. And to a point, he is, but he's not like, I don't have any humanity like Hiro Yui. It's his birthday. Now, mind you, he's filling in for somebody. And it's like, all right, we understand that. He has to fight Ariel. There times duels happen throughout. They post wagers, and for her, he wants the Ariel because he sees that she can pilot the Ariel without any issues like he is. He thinks she's like him, that has issues piloting because you can't pilot the Gundam for so long if you're affected by this red strain of data feedback. I'll just call it the red strand. I forgot what they call it in the series, but yeah, he also has an anti-Gundam part of his unit. It lets out 3 little sub-pods that bust off that deactivate the Gundam system. Hold on.
But it works on any system.
No, it's an anti-Gundam system. It's the anti-Gundam system.
Because he used it when he was fighting Gil, and he was shutting down certain parts of his body every time he got hit.
Oh no, that was the rifle. No, remember that was the weapon he was using. It would just stun. It would just turn off parts. No, the pods he let off are I think they call it antidote. It's like a 3-pod system that for those that are, I'll say a bit system for those that are familiar with this in Gundam. Bits are just little extra things that come off a Gundam that they can use with their mind or whatever the various control systems are in the series of that particular. Yeah, this thing just lets out like a quote-unquote EMP field for the Gundam system. Shuts it off. And it's like, yeah, he's about to like kick her behind and take the Ariel. She's like, Ariel, I need you to like work with me here. The Gundam wakes up. And like you see the aerial mode, instead of being red for a moment, it turns blue.
Like fully awakened.
Like it taps into like, for those that might be familiar with, I'll call it this, the hyper mode. Like in G Gundam, like the shiny Gundam taps into it at times, but doesn't go fully golden. But yeah,
or you could just say it's like Trans Am from 00.
This goes beyond what the Trans Am does. It taps into that. Because later in the series, the Gundam doesn't, like, in the parts that you see, like, turn red, it turns blue. Like, she fully, like, taps into, like, the Gundam's awakening later on. And it's insane. But, yeah, she beats the guy. And she's like, oh, we'll meet up and celebrate your birthday later. She gets to keep the Gundam. And it's his birthday. And the company he's worked for, this body double, is like, yeah, you failed us. You see him strapped up to, like, something... I don't know what it is. And there's something in front of him. It's like a giant square. It's glowing red. I'm like, is this man about to get like microwaved or his memories erased? And all you hear is him singing, happy birthday to me. And it's the most horrifying thing I've ever seen. Like,
As
happy
we can
birthday.
assume, I'm assuming they vaporized him.
We'll assume he's been replaced. We won't say vaporized because, YouTube. So we'll go with, he's just been replaced with the real guy. The real guy's in there now. Go ahead. Continue with episode 5 now.
I'm trying to remember episode 5. What was episode? Episode 5 was more just, wasn't that when they created the company?
I think they were starting to create the company. Like
Yeah,
for
not
5, 6, and I think 5 and 6 is where they're trying to start up the company now. They
because
every no
I
no
think episode 5 or 6 is when they go to the party and basically the one of the other companies is conspiring with the I wish I could remember his name, the green haired guy that she fought is conspiring with another company, and they basically expose to the world that yes, her Ariel is a Gundam.
and then they go to
As
court over it basically because her
no,
father or whatever her wife.
that'd be episode 2.
No. This is way before that. They go to court. They go to the court when they're like creating the Gundam and all that still. Or well, saying it's not a Gundam, it is a Gundam. What's her name's dad is like, it's a Gundam because I say it's a Gundam and I'm in charge. My rules or the highway, Missy.
Yeah, his character is kind of interesting because he kind of keeps himself in that stoic. I make it you feel like I don't care about you,
He
but
really
deep
does care
down I
about his
do.
daughter.
But I guess he's just like he's trying to give her tough love and just basically doesn't want her to get involved in a lot of things that she's getting involved in.
Yes, because like as soon as she starts getting involved, they find out the Ariel is a Gundam. They're like, all right. Like her mother, you'll see in the series, I believe it's her left arm. It detaches. It's literally a prosthetic that's
Right.
from part not of the Gundam technology, but part of the previous generation.
Where they got Gundam medical technology.
Yes. They started a company, start doing prototypes using Gundam technology basically for like basically prosthetics. And
And they actually work. They create a pair of robotic legs and they test it. It works perfectly.
now they got to go through the patenting process and all that. You see all that. And one of the duels, you see the Ariel she wins it, but the Ariel gets badly damaged in what?
Well,
Episode 7?
well, she doesn't win it, sir.
Wait,
Get that correct.
no, she does win.
She was about to get her head taken off before my girl Choo Choo basically sniped them.
No, she still won the duel. It was a team
Yeah.
duel, basically, against this gentleman. I'm not going to say he's in this love square. You'll see he's part of the duel committee. He has blonde hair, blue eyes, tan skin.
Yeah, the
Insert,
prince.
he's a prince, basically, of like this other company or whatever.
He has more of a relationship with the other main female character.
Yeah,
They kind of have like a cat and mouse relationship. It seems like he wants to help her, but at the same time he wants to get approval from his father. So he kind of like
was
back and forth.
I don't think he really seeks approval from his dad. His dad's an old geezer, by the way. His dad is like in charge of one of the other companies. By the way, after Guel lost his duel, or the second duel, like they tried to cheat, basically, and he gets cut from the funding and everything. It's like, yeah, you're not gonna. His dad's like, you're not gonna ruin the reputation of my company. You're cut. You're lucky in paying the rest of your tuition. Episodes
And
later, we go into he's still around.
he's sleeping in the park like a hobo.
No, he has a tent. He has camping gear. He's there. His brother's also on the dual committee at this school. They love each other.
That's going to be a definitely interesting relationship to
But
see.
yeah,
What's going to
Mundo, you're
happen.
right. They won, but it was on her behalf. So but now we get into after the serious damage to the area, we get to some real serious business.
Yes,
I
we do.
say it's what, episode 9, the unit's getting transferred.
Yeah. Well, basically, what's the name? The prince's father, basically, the prince and Gil's father get together and basically decide, you know what? If
We
he's
need
not
the
going to
head
do anything
CEO
about this
taken care
Gundam,
of.
yeah, we need to take him out. and we need somebody to replace him because he doesn't want to do anything about this Gundam because his daughter's involved with it. So they kind of go ahead and set up basically a mercenary team from Earth, which is the weirdest thing. But the prince is from Earth, so I'm assuming they have ties down there.
Well, they hire these mercenaries or quote unquote terrorists because what's her name? She's part of the Earthnoid. She's part of the company that Miss Mercury and everybody else start up.
Oh, the blue-haired chick.
Yeah, yeah. She has ties to a, I guess, mercenary group or terrorist group. They're anti-space noids. Basically, in Gundam, there's space colonies. There's Earth. Earth versus space colonies. Thank goodness no one dropped a colony on Nika. Okay, thank you. It's Miss Nika. She has ties.
Okay.
Her sister is a Gundam pilot. We'll later discuss. Her dad, I believe that's to be her dad, is in charge of this group. That gets hired by
Yeah.
the prince to go take out the head CEO and capture Gundam
But
Ariel.
we don't really know that until later on in the battle, where
Right.
she does something that kind of exposes herself not only to us but to her whole team, the
No, no,
whole
no, not
crew.
her whole team. It's that one guy. There's a part in I'll say it's we'll go ahead and get into like 10, 11 and all that because basically it's just a build up. 12's where it really
Yeah,
all happens. You see, there's just discussions, all this and that. Let's see. Gule is on this ship. His father doesn't know this, by the way. He gets captured. He doesn't know where his son is. Gule's father still loves him. He doesn't know where he's at. Because he is kind of actively looking for him, partially, still trying to figure out where he's at. The terrorists take over this ship. They load up all the company mobile suits. They're older models, but they'll use them still effectively. Then there's two Gundams on there. These two chicks are like Miss Mercury in a way. They're witches too, so to speak. But they still they receive the feedback, but
but they can.
they can handle the feedback. It's really weird. It'll get more explained, I'm sure. But one of them is a huge fan of Miss Mercury. They go on and
Yeah,
on about her, blah blah blah. The other one's very serious, and Nika's sister, from what I can tell, because they share similarities. So, but yeah, their operation time's like X amount of time. Go capture the Gundam area. Go kill the CEO. They separate one block of this giant facility. Where God, what is her name? Mundo. What is Miss Mercury's fiance's name? I hate that I don't remember it.
mm, I should, I keep thinking I want to say Marina,
Anyways, we'll
but
just go with the fiance. Will make my day easier. And yeah, there's an explosion that happens. There's a part where she would die. Like she should
yeah,
be literally killed by this debris, but lo and behold, in like Marina, yeah, okay, then you're not far off. It's Miorin. It's like we'll go Marina. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Her dad saves her from an explosion, and she's like, she thought he was just a bastard this whole time, not loving her. Then
yeah,
they go to discussing about it's like, well, if anything were to happen to you, it would. They start discussing like you're more like your mother than you know. If your mother and I made this decision, if anything were to happen to one of us, we'd make sure you're taken care of. Doesn't matter. Blah blah blah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of blood. There's like it's like piercing like two of his ribs and a kidney.
Yeah, he's all kind of messed up.
And then we switch over to another scene. You see
Which is
these two
which I
Gundams.
would say.
Go
Oh, I
ahead.
would say go ahead. I would say that's probably the most important thing to me out of that was the scene where basically because they have the mercenaries had their mission. We got to take out everything, take out all the ships, take out the sections that we need to take out, and then we basically
Kill him, capture
infiltrate.
the Gundam.
But it's the fact that they are destroying all the ships in that area, and then she just what's her name?
Nika.
Nico
Yeah,
just
there's
happens to see a bullet shell casing from one of the mobile suits, and she just puts it together like they're using physical rounds. So I'm assuming people in space don't use physical rounds.
yeah, because they're
She
from
like they're
Earth
from
because it
Earth,
pollutes the
and so
space.
she sends Morse code to her, let her know, hey, don't kill us. We're allies of the prince.
Oh no,
Because
no,
she
hang
kind
on. No, their ship was the last one docked. They're
yeah
like they were going to destroy it. She's like click 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 hitting the flashers on the car, basically
yeah
panicking. Don't
yeah
destroy us.
she was sending Morse code basically because she knew they were from Earth, so she had to know them. Like you said, she probably knew who the mercenaries were.
Oh,
So she's sending them the code basically, and she recognized because she's like it's an old Earth code that they
it's
use,
it's not.
and so
I don't know. I think it's one of their current ones or whatever. It's like oh okay,
but
flies off. You see,
then what?
it pans to a guy off to the left. He's like, "What did
How
you
did you?
do?" No,
But how
he's in
did
utter
you?
terrified. What did you do?
I think more so he's in shock. He's like, how did you know to send that signal to them to not kill us? Why did that mobile suit just leave when you sent that signal to him?
Yeah.
So now it casts a huge shadow over her going into next season.
Oh yeah. Then we switch over to Yule and his father. There are these terrorists that have Yule and several other civilians captured. They have some mobile suits on board. Well, one of the terrorists or whatever from the group screw up, so he literally escapes. Gets in this old mobile suit. Now, mind you, some of these mobile suits they all have the basically if they touch each other, communication will work or comms, or they can send out a via whatever radio wave or whatever. Well, some of these other models don't work with the newer models. Well, Gil's dad is very upset at being betrayed by this group of mercenaries, so he takes out two other units and starts chasing
Yeah,
after them.
because he basically lets her know he didn't come to power basically by corporate reason. He's
He
actually knows how to pilot a mobile suit.
Oh,
He's
he took
actually,
on he did it all on his own with his bare hands.
but that was kind of heartbreaking. It's like,
You
uh,
you see his dad just fire off at Gil's mobile suit over and over, destroys the arms, some legs,
and the whole
and
time he's just trying to tell him like, "Hey, it's me. It's me. It's Gul. Don't
his
kill me.
his
I'm not."
his dad can't receive the communications, so he doesn't know it's his dad. By the way, last ditch effort attack. The unit has basically what's like a heated blade, just pops it out. The other one, his dad, pops out like a beam saber of some kind from the arm. They charge at each other, last ditch effort. Well, guess who wins? Gule. Basically, right into the cockpit. Knife. Right into the cockpit. And you start hearing
and
comms go off.
and that's when he finds out it was he just killed his own father.
And I mean,
He
he
tries
is devastated.
he tries to get out and save him, but of course, the mobile suit explodes, even though it should have exploded well a long time ago when it got stabbed. But
Well, it depends
you
on what
got to,
parts it hits, too. It's like a car. You hit certain parts, it's not going to explode. But you hit some other parts, then it goes kaboom.
but basically, he looks like he might be mentally broken by the outcome of the whole situation.
Oh, no. He's not going to be mentally broken. He's going to be mentally scarred.
I'm trying to think what else. Oh, probably if we go past that part, it's probably feeds into the end of the show. Really,
Yeah.
when Stelletta is basically she's at the dock. There's probably what about 4 or 5 mercenaries down there that's basically trying to secure the Gundam.
Yep.
And her mom just comes in and just pop, 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 and the other guy comes in and just drops all 5 of them.
Yeah,
And
Mercury's like scared stiffless.
she's like, "You kill these people," and her mom kind of explains to her like, "If I didn't kill him, he was going to kill you. So it's okay. See, it's
You're
fine."
it's okay. They were bad. It's okay. Well, then she gets into her mobile suit and proceeds to fight the other two. Yeah, her mobile suit receives an upgrade too, by the way. In one of
Oh
the
yeah,
earlier episodes, you see a makeshift like back
booster
unit.
pack.
Yeah, she gets an amazing one that like. And for those that don't know, the Ariel has a bit system. It's probably my favorite I've seen out of all of the Gundams. The bit systems will detach from all parts of her Gundam, fire off lasers, form together to form a physical shield or a like
Beam
uh,
saber or a mega particle, which we find out in this one, they form like a mega particle rifle.
cannon. She fires it off, and I mean, she almost takes out both those other Gundams. But they're like, oh,
Well, no, she only took out the crazy one because the quiet, more stoic one was like, "Get out of here," because she knew what was going to happen.
yeah. Well, it
So
was
she,
time up. Time was up too for their operation. So it's like, yeah. And the crazy lady's like, I love you so much, Miss Mercury. Let me have your autograph.
which
Oh,
we didn't really tell, but her Gundam is kind of seems to be special from because it has not only does it have that little feature where it can actually um what was it it can neutralize the Gundam jamming field. It can actually jam or disable regular mobile suits with its own field,
yep.
like a reverse field.
Yeah, it
But it
has.
seems that but it seems like when she uses it, it seems to give her way too much data feedback, and it seems to put her even under stress when using it.
Yeah, but she can handle it too. I guess like when the Gundams that have the Gundam system that are not like the Aerials that can use the I think it's called the antidote system or whatever. I'm not going to call it the antidote, but I think that's what they called it. Or the anti Gundam field, and it just uses it on other mobile suits. So I think it was re-engineered a bit just for their operations, was my guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
Miss Mercury is about to lay a whooping on those two. Well, we start going into we get the credits roll for a bit. I had to go rewatch the episode to go see this part because I was like, "What happened? Did I miss something?" Because sometimes I watch till after the credits, and it's like, "Oh, nothing until the next episode, whatever." Well, something happens. Uh, Miss Arrow goes to find Miss Marina. She's with her dad, I think. There's one of these terrorists. It's kind of a broken part of the facility or whatever. It's still floating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is kind of weird that
he
just this one lone terrorist is just there.
and he finds her. He's like, "All right, there's the CEO. I gotta get him and his daughter." And there's Miss Mercury just piling up the mobile suit. She's like, "Oh, bad person." You see a giant mech hand just come down and turn that man into strawberry jam. Because I won't say what else happens. And jam's floating all over the place. Miss Ariel gets out of the mobile, or Miss Miss Mercury gets out of the Ariel. She holds out her hand.
Slips and falls into
Strawberry jam. She's holding
yeah.
out her hands, and Miss Marina is just in utter horror and is just horrified at this situation. This is a whole just picture. Just come with me if you want to live type shenanigans. But
But
another
yeah,
shock that Mercury just Minecrafted somebody into
but you have
strawberry
to
jam.
yeah, but you have to understand from her perspective, she's probably never seen like combat and death like that.
No, she hasn't. She's like,
So
oh,
that would scar anybody from witnessing that.
have you seen a
And
giant
then for
hand just strawberry jam somebody?
and
Oh,
then the image of Miss Mercury with her hand out with the strawberry jam on it, and just she smiled like she has no idea of like she feels justified and vindicated in what she did, which technically
she's not
she
wrong, but it's
she's
also
not wrong,
horrifying at the same time.
but I would say she's wrong because in that moment she could have literally put the Ariel's hand right between them, and the bullets would have just bounced off the hand. It's like it was like overkill.
Well, you got to remember, Mommy Dearest told me it's okay because they were going to hurt somebody very precious to me. So I better stop them. Any means
When
necessary. And, well, any means necessary meant strawberry jam.
and
Ooh.
just the last line of the series before it goes off is she just says murderer, and it just cuts right there in the season.
I'm just sitting there. I'm like, well, if she didn't strawberry jam the man, you were about to become Swiss cheese in the most non-nice way.
Yeah, but you can see, like I said, I like it because it's definitely going to set up. There's a lot of conflicts that now have been set up to go into the next season.
Oh yes,
But
it is.
because I already know the Mercury and her are going. It'll probably be like a 2-3 episode arc, and they'll patch things up and they'll get kind of back to where they were.
I feel like this might go more like how Gundam Seed went. This is just me just speculating because that's all we can do is speculate right now. Some things will be
You're not
obvious, some won't.
you're not saying she's going to turn into the Flay All Star of this series, are you?
No, she's not gonna go. No, it's well. I just we will get drama. We will get as much drama as we will action for the series. I don't see this being like Gundam Seed, where it's like the first 50 episodes are drama, the next 50 episodes is nothing but action. We'll get a good mix.
Yeah. Right now, I can kind of always, like I said, I just want to talk about it in the end part. I'm like, I can already kind of see what, because they got the ship that can transport mobile suits or a mobile suit. They get out that the little company is going to become like a crew itself, and they're going to be flying around in space and engaging in more combat with these mercenaries with the aerial. And then of course eventually they'll get an even bigger ship, and they'll, because I got a feeling Choo Choo's gonna get a Gundam.
I
I
think
got a
there's going to
feeling
be a lot
she's
of
gonna
people
get one.
getting a Gundam. This
Yeah,
it's going to be very interesting where they go with this, considering all the cliffhanger that for a series. I will say that's a hell of a cliffhanger. It's been a long time since something has left me wanting more out of it.
that's what's so weird about it, because usually when they do Gundam series, they usually do 25 episodes. That's the first season, and then they go into a break. But this one's kind of like, we're doing 12 episodes. They already said they're coming back with season 2, of course. So that means that's probably going to be 24 episodes all together. So really, that's going to be like one season. Really, just all, even though it's split into two, it's going to be one season because you're going to watch it as one season, not just two. But like I said, yeah, this is like the first Gundam series in a while that I've really just been, probably since Double O, where the final episode of the season just kind of leaves you on a cliffhanger and you don't know what's going to happen, and you're just hyped to see the next season. Because Double O did the same thing where basically they killed off one of the pilots. One of the other pilots' mobile suits got captured. The other ones got destroyed, and then Exia just floats off into space, and it kind of just leaves you on a cliffhanger, like you don't know what's going to happen. And I said that's the one thing a lot of animes now they don't know how to do, is just make a cliffhanger and just leave it alone. Don't try to expand upon it. Don't try to add little extra little lines. And once you hit that crescendo, cut it and just walk away.
Yep. My favorite part of this though, and this is just for because I'm an old Gundam head just like you are, and we're just sitting here just watching all these people like I can't believe all this craziness happened. We're just your first time, eh? welcome to Gundam. Divert all expectations.
And the one thing I do like about which from Mercury did, I don't. It's not like a lot of Gundam series where I can look at them like, okay, yeah, this is kind of like this series is kind of like that one. Like this series kind of seems to stand out on its own, and I think that's why people are kind of gravitating towards it more, because it's not, like I said, they took an old Gundam uh, storytelling narrative, slapped a new coat of paint on it, and then put it back out there. Because this definitely doesn't remind me of any other Gundam series that I've seen, and I'm not saying I've seen all of them. There's still some ones I still need to see, and I've been meaning to see them for a while. But and we do actually have some news that dropped today. Volume 1 Blu-ray and DVDs will be out March 24th.
Sweet.
So they I think Bandai kind of recognizes they got a hot series right now, so they're trying to basically push this series. I think they've known that since they started showing off, just the first little teaser trailer when it was getting so much attention. Because this one right here, like I see even non-Gundam fans talking about this series.
Well, it has a little bit of
Kind of,
everything in it, which is nice. Which I think
yeah,
they should always do. But for what I want people to take away from this though is like just remember you don't know which way a series is going to go, so don't be trying to like ship two characters together because like and I'm not trying to compare this to Game of Thrones, but it's like Game of Thrones. Oh, this one character I really love. Oh, they're so cool. They're going to be great in the stories, and they die the next episode. It's like I'm like,
I've said that from the beginning. I'm like I am now seeing the end. I'm like I don't see the shipping between the two main characters. Like if anything, it's more like a friendship. Just they're close friends. But
if I were to say it's anything, it is a relationship that is built upon needs. Will it bloom into love? We will see. I will not say because this is not being pushed in one way or the other. Thank goodness. I get tired of like stuff being
like if
just
they
shoved in my
do go in
face.
if they do go in that direction, it's not gonna bother me as long as they set it up and they build the story up.
Yeah.
Don't
Well,
just kind
there
of
needs to
just
be
come out of
story
left
behind it. It's
field
like,
with it.
oh, these two characters are in love. What? Why? What even formed this relationship in the first place? But for those that obviously have seen what's going on here, yes, a form of relationship, whether it's going to be friendship or full-on committed relationship, I don't know. Right now, it's in the stages of friendship. Yeah, technically, quote unquote, they're engaged, but that's only by the standard of the rules that are in place right now at the school. Could it all change? Could a full blown out war happen?
It's
Possibly.
gonna happen.
Well, you remember
It,
how Iron Blooded Orphans was. Well, no, never mind. That did turn into
I
a
don't
full
think. I
blown
think it's
war.
gonna. I think it has a lot. I think it has a lot more in common with the Iron Blood Orphans. If I had to
Oh,
say any Gundam series, and just more so, just the corporate side of things, and you having all these different companies. That's about the only thing I could say that kind of mimics another series.
yeah, it's going to be interesting where they go with this. But I guess do you have any final comments, opinions, Mr. Chris?
Character. If you haven't seen it, start from the prelude. You probably could skip probably the first 3 to 4
No, ignore him.
episodes.
Do not skip episodes. Must watch them all. We are
But
not
outside that,
episode skippers, sir.
I like the character. I really like the character design somewhat. Miss Marina, I'm not particularly liking her character design. To me, it doesn't look as smooth as the other characters. Uh, I hope in season 2 they get rid of that stutter from Miss Mercury because that was probably the most annoying part of that show. We're just watching it.
I'm
Just
sorry
that,
you weren't awkward as a teenager.
not like that where she just constantly is stuck. No matter who she's around, people she's been around for months, for long periods of time, she knows, and she's still doing all this stuttering and shy and hiding behind things. It's just like, please just get rid of that. If you're gonna do it, give her art where she grows into herself and becomes more confident in herself. Because we saw her be more confident in herself at the party, where she stood strong and stood there and basically said who she was, what she believed in. But then immediately she goes right back to, I have no spine until I get into my Gundam, and that is annoying.
Well, you got to remember, she's still a teenager, man. But I mean, that sounds like I'm giving her an excuse, but I'm just like, she's still a teenager. Going through all this craziness. Hormones. What do, what do hey, we do crazy things.
Every Gundam pilot is a teenager.
No, not all of them now. Come on.
Let's see. Domu was what 20? He was in his 20s. Chris from Double O 80. She was in her 20s. But Wing, they're all teenagers. Zeta Gundam, they're teenagers. The original Gundam, he's a teenager.
And he
He's
grows
basically
up.
what? He's like a college. I think with probably like 18, 19, because I think he's supposed to be in college in the original.
Yeah, then like during Zeta, Double Zeta, he's like 20s, ends up later, basically 20s.
Yeah, but pretty much all the Gundam series, they're always like teenagers. Gundam Seed, especially, which I say that's Gundam Seed. We got to talk about Gundam Seed one day. I like so you're putting expensive high end mobile suits in the hands of 15 and 16 years old to fight a war for you, and you don't see anything wrong with this. I'm like, nah, it's normal for a teen. It's normal for a 15-year-old to join the military and fight in war and mobile suits and stuff. Like what? Like, come on. Like this, no military is gonna do. Like if teenagers are fighting in your military, that means you must be losing pretty badly. It, there's a lot of things with Gundam Seed that you could go back. Even though I like Gundam Seed, I hate Lacus.
It's all right. It's all right.
Kira.
Gundam Seed can't hurt you anymore, Chris. It can't
Oh
hurt you
yeah.
anymore.
Oh yes, it can hurt you. 'Cause they getting that they coming back with that movie.
Well, don't watch it. That's what I did. I didn't watch it anymore.
You haven't seen the what's the name, the pictures they put up of the Strike Freedom Extreme.
Listen, there's a reason I don't look at certain things. I'm like, you know what? Not worth my time.
Yeah, because they already said like it's going. They've been working on that Gundam Seed movie forever.
Well, let them. I'm not going to watch it. They got me once. They got me once with the Trailblazer. I'm not watching anymore. I don't want Gundam Seed ruined for me.
I know. Because the only thing that I will say, probably the best thing that came out of Gundam Seed was Gundam Seed Stargazer. That's probably I can't remember how many episodes, but it's a short OVA. I think it's only like 5 to 6 episodes, maybe less. And it basically deals with the Stargazer Gundam, which is basically like it's the same size as the Destroy Gundam.
Yes.
But it's like for deep space exploration.
Right.
It's not a combat machine. And it's actually a pretty that's where we get the other 3 Gundams, the Strike Noir, the Bird Buster, and the other duel that has, like, instead of a rifle, it has the 2 pistols. I can't remember what it is.
But definitely check out our recommendations if you can. Sorry to cut you off there a little bit, sir.
Oh no. I still got to sit down and watch Trigun.
I'm not even going to say anything about the Trigun Stampede. I'm not.
But
now you about to go get me on a tirade. Like you just went on.
Oh, go for it.
No. All right. Anything else, Mr. Chris?
I would give it an 8, a 7 or 8. It's a solid Gundam series.
7 out of 8.
I would give it an 8 probably.
No, you just said 7 out of 8. What kind of rating system is that?
I said I would give it a 7 or an 8, but I'll probably settle on an 8 because I'm scared. Because
I'm going to give it a 9.
This first season is so good, they can only screw it up in the second season.
I'm going to give it a 9. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for season 1. They adverted my expectations with that last episode. Yes, Mundo, Vash looks fabulous, but I'm very, very upset at the way the animations were done and the way they're missing characters that I saw that are not even there anymore. And I am so... What's her name? Looks like a freaking 14-year-old boy. Yeah, I know she's 4'9". None of y'all even start giving me crap.
Yeah, I actually looked at the pictures of her, and I'm like, yeah, she does kind of look like a boy. They didn't really give her a lot of feminine features.
I don't like this feminine boyish. This is not a tomboy. This is definitely not a tomboy. She should not look like some 14-year-old boy. That is annoying in itself to me. And then poor Vash. Oh, what'd they do to What did they do to my son?
Is well, no, they haven't done the English dub yet. Because
I
I was
hope.
trying to see it. I was trying to see if they brought what's his name back? Mister I record a whole bunch of anime but don't like it. Johnny on Bosch.
Let's not talk about him. All right, folks, we're going to end it here. Me and you, Chris, we'll talk about this afterwards. Mundo and everybody else in chat, definitely thank y'all for joining us.
Yep,
We'll have
definitely.
probably an episode either this next Sunday. We'll see. Where next episode might be for the upcoming anime series of 20 or for winter and spring of 2023. We'll see. But till then, Johnny Young Bosch is returning. Oh God. All right, folks. But till then, y'all have a great day.